and welcome to the Geek Elite Podcast, episode 3, where we talk to you about all things geekery. I've come completely unprepared today. I've got no notes whatsoever, so I'm going to let you lead this one.
Cool.
Should we go straight into some... You've got a news round?
I've got some news, yes. Last week, all the big film studios had a major release date exposure session. So let's start with Disney.
Okay.
They have announced dates for Lion King, the live action version.
Right.
That's July 19th, 2019, so it's a fair way off.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to interject here. How can they make a live action film of a film with no people in it? Because it's not going to be live action, is it? It's going to be CGI. Just different CGI.
Yeah.
It's not live action, is it?
Yeah, it's not like the Jungle Book, which actually does have a human in it.
Yeah, exactly. The Lion King doesn't have any humans in it.
Unless they're using real lions.
I don't know. As soon as they announced it, I just thought, what? It's not live action, it's just modern CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
And they're getting the same voice actors as well, which is...
Are they?
Well, they're getting James L. Jones.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't know about anyone else, but certainly he's back in it again.
Oh, right.
It just seems daft to me.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's just a remake. I mean,
well, that's what they do for all their films, isn't it? They seem to be going through the whole back catalogue and making...
Well, that's the idea. They want to do live action versions of all of them.
Yeah.
So they've announced Dumbo and Aladdin.
Dumbo's done by Tim Burton.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
See how that goes.
And Aladdin as well.
Yeah.
And the rumours are the genie's going to be voiced by Will Smith, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't want to step into those shoes.
No.
He's braver man than I. So.
Yeah. I mean, Aladdin is my favourite Disney classic.
It is a good one.
The music, for me, it's just super. And obviously, Robin Williams is the genie.
Yeah.
He's just genius.
Yeah.
A genius genie.
A genius genie.
Anyway.
What's next?
Right. Star Wars Episode 10 is not coming out at Christmas.
Episode 10?
Episode 10.
9.
Or 9. Why have I written 10 down?
I don't know.
I can't count.
It might be episode 10.
I have actually put Star Wars 10 for some reason.
You have put Star Wars 10.
Yeah, sorry.
I'd like to round them up.
Yeah. God, I sound like an idiot.
Nah, we'll cut it.
Alright. May 24th, they're bringing that one out. So middle of the year. Which is odd, because I know they did say they were doing all of them at Christmas.
Yeah, I think they're going back to a spring summer schedule now, aren't they?
Yeah,
more money.
So.
I don't know. It would be nice for Christmas because they are quite good Christmas films, aren't they?
Yeah,
where the family can.
Yeah. I just thought it took that long to make them, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, Frozen 2, the sequel that nobody wants.
I think there's plenty of kids that want that sequel. The problem with Frozen 2 is they've got to try and top that Let It Go.
Yeah, they can't. They've either got to reuse that song or not have songs in the film because it will be a letdown. But I don't really know where they're going to go with a sequel either.
No.
Because it was a classic tale.
It was, it's based on the Snow Queen.
The Snow Queen, yeah. I mean, it's never going to match that film. It was a great film. I'm not going to deny that.
It was good. I was pleasantly surprised, actually.
It just
I wasn't really expecting much from that.
When something makes that much money, it's always going to be a sequel, isn't it?
Of
Anyway, so that's coming out November 27th, 2019. So that's a good way off as well. Another unwanted sequel, Wreck-It Ralph 2, which is going to be called Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is the awful title. I
don't think we need Wreck-It Ralph 2.
No,
it's all right. Wreck-It Ralph's all right.
Yeah, it was a clever idea.
Pretty decent movie, but I don't. It's better as a one-off. It doesn't need a sequel.
Yeah, no, it was a good one-off with lots of good in-jokes. But now they've got to try and top those references and things, haven't they?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. That's November 21st, 2018. So that's not such a long wait. The next Disney classic is called Gigantic. I don't know anything about it. I've not heard about it before, but that's coming out November 25th,
now, so
2020. That's a long way off.
2020, yeah. It'll be around the corner in seconds, though. We're saying it's a long way off. We'll listen back to this when that's out and think, that's
when we're
quick.
doing podcast 200, maybe that'll be out. Yeah.
And I would have perhaps edited and uploaded episode 2 by that point.
And the big one, Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah. When's that coming out?
July 10th, 2020. So they've delayed it again.
They put a lot of faith in Harrison Ford until 2020.
I know, he's going to be, about 78 by then?
Blimey. Fair play to him, he's still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it is confirmed that it's him and Spielberg. So, everyone's on board.
Shia LaBeouf.
There's no word of him, no. So there's no more information other than that. But basically, they've had to reschedule it according to when both of those two were available.
Yeah, when he's not crashing planes.
Yeah.
Not Spielberg.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut that out as a rubbish joke. I don't want to
fine.
Anyway.
Right, so that's all the Disney ones. Avatar. Now, do you remember when they announced that they were doing Avatar sequels?
Yes. Yeah,
and James Cameron said there was going to be 4 sequels.
4 sequels.
I didn't actually quite believe that. I thought, no, they're not going to do 4 sequels. Well, he is doing 4 sequels.
It seems strange. I think it's probably just the OCD in me crying out here, but 5 films, make it 6 or make it 4. One or the other. What are you doing?
A double trilogy, really, or quadrilogy.
What stories can they tell?
Well, this is the thing.
Isn't it going to be underwater?
One of them is based underwater.
Yeah,
apparently,
so I think that was one of the original rumours when the first film came out, when they said the sequel will be underwater.
Yeah.
But,
basically, it's taken so long because he's written all of the films together, and he's filming. I think he's filming them all at the same time, but the release dates would actually suggest that he's not. So basically, they're all coming out in December. So you've got December 18th, 17th, 20th, and 19th. 2020, 2021, and then there's a gap to 2024 and 2025. So it's a long way off still.
I think we're going to get to about 2020, and
nobody's going to care by 2020.
The interest is going to be gone, surely. I mean, it's been nearly 10 years since the first film. It's been 8 years.
It will have been 10 years. Because I think it was 2010 the first one came out.
Or was it 2009?
Was it? 2009. Yeah. So over 10, 11 years.
I think even now, I think it's, even though it was a really, really successful film, I think even now who is interested in Avatar now?
The thing is, Avatar in itself was a very impressive film. But when you actually look at the story, it was a story that it's been told 100 times before. It was nothing original, and it did have unobtainium in it. Which is the worst name for anything in a movie.
People sort of rag on unobtainium as a bit of a cheap shot, but it's why did he think that was a?
I mean, it's not even a tongue-in-cheek joke.
No, it's a genuine. It's completely po-faced, genuine unobtainium.
I mean, that's just stupid.
Can't find Genesium.
As a one-off film, it works really well. It's very enjoyable and very unique, but I just don't know why they need 4 sequels. But there we go.
Overkill.
So those dates suggest to me that they're doing 2 of them back to back, released in 2020 and 2021, and then there's a 3-year gap. So I'm guessing they're then in that gap filming 4 and 5.
You would have.
And then they're coming out in 24 and 25.
Yeah, because I assume they're probably filming the 2020 and 2021
now,
episodes.
Basically,
over the next few years.
Yeah, I think they start filming late this year.
Yeah.
Because they take sort of 3 years to film and
make
and then release.
Yeah,
I think that's the basic idea. So we've got a while to wait anyway. So lots of speculation, no doubt. Jurassic World 2 is out on June the 8th, 2018. So only just over a year for that, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
And there's more news to do with that. And this got me.
I know what the news is.
This is great.
We should actually have a feature every week, the Jeff Goldblum section, because he seems to crop up in our podcast every single week.
He does, but not only him, but yes, Jeff Goldblum's character of Dr.
Ian
Malcolm is coming back, which is awesome because I love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it's really good.
He's so good. Also, Toby Jones is in it.
Okay.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah. Who is he being? Is he?
There's no announcement at all.
Oh, okay, so he's not.
Just that he is confirmed to be in it.
Okay.
And also
probably.
James Cromwell is in it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's a really good actor.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I'm really happy with that cast.
Yeah, is Chris Pratt in it?
Oh yeah. Obviously,
so it's going to feature
him and the female lead.
The
female. Both, I can't even remember her name.
Dallas Bryce Howard.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Those are both in it. I don't know about the children. Hopefully not. I kind of hope they move on.
They didn't bother me actually.
No, they were really good. Don't get me wrong.
As the children were,
they were very good, but I don't think it needs to have them in the story.
It doesn't need to have them shoehorned into, because it wasn't their kids. As in Chris Pratt and what are the characters' names?
I have no idea. It was a great film, but I don't remember the characters' names at all.
It wasn't their kids, so it'd be weird to shoehorn them in to be involved with them again.
Exactly.
I know she's their aunt.
Yeah, but that worked once as a link, didn't it?
Yeah. What is even the plot?
Nobody knows. It's filming now, I think. I think they have started filming.
I imagine it's going to be along the lines of what they started doing with the
Genetics.
genetically manipulating and
because
using bioweapons.
The science guy is back in it again. The Japanese guy,
Henry
Japanese,
Wu,
Chinese, something like that. Yeah.
God.
Sorry, that sounded so racist.
We're going to have to cut that.
I think he's Asian.
Hey, just general Asian,
yeah. He's in it again. So it's going to be something to do with genetically engineered dinosaurs. I would guess. Again.
Yeah. You would have thought, wouldn't you?
We should just cut all of
this.
Anyway.
We'll go get crack on. Let's move on.
So Jurassic World 2 has got a release date.
Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. Jeff Goldblum's in that.
Let's move on.
Yeah, what we got?
Deadpool 2 is...
Don't care, move on.
I can't believe you didn't like that film.
I don't like Deadpool. Don't think it's funny or interesting.
Well, it's coming out June the 1st next year, 2018. So you've got a year to wait for that. Now, this is interesting. I'd never heard of these before. The New Mutants... Right, let's try that.
I never heard of those before either.
The New Mutants is a Marvel thing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a new property. It's in the X-Men universe, I believe.
But not using the characters that are owned by Fox.
No, I think it's owned by Marvel, I believe.
So they're sort of essentially making their own version. Well, I assume they're characters that are originally established. But
yes, they are from comic books. Apparently.
Oh right, okay. New Mutants.
But I don't know any more than that. That's out in less than a year, April 13th next year. So it's obviously quite well along in development by now.
Yeah.
I should do a bit more research into it, really.
Yeah.
Just haven't had time. We're so unprepared for these things.
We're not the geek elite, are we? We're the geeks who sometimes hear a bit of hearsay and then talk about it.
Right, and then X-Men. I didn't get a release date for the new X-Men film, but they have confirmed that there is one, because there was a lot of speculation over whether they were going to do another one or not.
Yeah.
And it's called Dark Phoenix.
Okay.
Which is obviously referencing a young Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Played by the lady from Game of Thrones.
The lady.
I can't remember her name either. But obviously
it's I'm going to see the pause. It's... There we go. I'm just going to edit in the actual name. Sansa.
Sansa Stark plays a young Jean Grey in the last X-Men film.
Yes, she did.
In the last two, in fact, I think. Was it?
No,
it was only Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Yeah, just Apocalypse.
Yeah. Suggestions are that it will feature her turning dark, maybe. I don't know. Dark Phoenix.
Oh, we've got the knowledge, haven't we?
Yeah, we got the insider info.
We've got the inside info.
Right. Only one more release date.
Okay.
The Predator. So the new Predator film, which we're both very cautious about.
Yeah.
August the 3rd, 2018. So again, just over a year for that.
No, that's not too long to wait, really, is it?
No.
I can handle that.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure once we start getting teaser trailers and trailers, it might pique a bit more interest. But
yeah, once I see some footage, you'll find out what it's about.
Yeah,
as long as
I need to see something in action before.
As long as it's not another silly setup like
Predators.
The Predators, which just made no sense at all.
I just hate this thing of the super predators.
It's rubbish. Anyway, this got me so excited. They have now officially commissioned a new series of the X-Files.
Oh right,
which is fantastic because
there was some a few years ago, wasn't there?
Yeah, they did 6 episodes last year, even the year before, possibly.
I think it was at least a year ago. Yeah.
I don't know. Are you a fan? Have you followed it?
Yeah, I used to be back in the 90s, but
yeah.
I just lost interest after about series maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I just didn't.
A lot of people did. I really enjoyed it all the way.
It just seemed to drag too much for me, and I just
the quality did dip a little bit when the stars left, when Duchovny left.
I think I left I think I stopped watching just before he left.
Yeah.
So I just didn't really.
He wasn't gone for much, to be fair, and the new people who came in were very good. I really liked the new characters. But then they did do 6 episodes. I think it was the year before last, 2015, I think, which were really good. I really enjoyed them. Some better than others. A lot of people didn't. But no.
From what I heard,
it was a bit of a mixed bag. The standalone episodes were very good, but they tried doing a couple of conspiracy episodes, and they weren't good. They didn't make sense. Basically.
No, that's the reason I stopped watching, because the conspiracy episode were taking over the Monster of the Week episodes.
Yeah, I liked the Monster of the Week, but I do love the conspiracy side of it. But the problem was, as he was writing the ideas for the series, he didn't know what the conspiracy was. It was being made up as it went along, and it kept changing, and aspects of it were confusing with the black goo, and 2 different types of black goo doing different things, and alien hunters and stuff like that, and it was all a bit strange in the end.
Yeah.
And didn't make any sense. And they tried to continue it in a couple of the newer episodes as well, and it just wasn't needed. Just standalone episodes would have been better.
Yeah.
But it was successful, and as soon as it finished, I think it's Fox, they confirmed that they wanted to do more, but and the stars said they wanted to do more, but it was just a case of scheduling it in, basically.
Yeah.
And they've now both scheduled it in, so they're filming in the middle of this year, ready for it to start being shown just before Christmas, and then following over into next year.
But this is going to be a full-blown series.
Not complete. It's 10 episodes this time.
Oh, well,
more than
six.
Then,
so yeah.
4 more than 6, in fact, for those mathematics
geniuses
out there. So I'm really excited because I loved it. I'm looking forward to that.
Good stuff.
I'm a big fan.
Good stuff. Well, there's all your release dates, so get your calendar out and start ticking some boxes.
That's the end of the news.
That's the end of the... There's no more news.
No. Thank God, because I messed most of it up, let's be honest.
Yeah, we'll have to start this again. But no, let's just take a moment then, and then we'll come back and we're going to talk about... We've both seen the latest hit release...
Guardians of the
Galaxy 2.
We shall discuss.
Back in a moment. Stick with us. Okay, welcome back. So Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
I've seen it, you've seen it. What did you think?
I enjoyed it.
As did I.
Good. Right, that was a good chat.
Anyway, you're moving on.
No, I did. I didn't think it was as good as the first one, but then sequels very rarely are.
I thought it was better than the first one.
Did you? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why, it just... I don't know.
It's good because they don't have to introduce the characters. You already know their quirks and their relationships, which is always good about a sequel.
Actually, before we continue, spoiler warning. Should we spoil the film?
Yeah, spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah, let's spoil it. If you haven't seen it, skip forward about half hour or so. I don't know how long it's going to be, but just skip forward until we stop talking about this. But yeah, there will be spoilers ahead. But sorry, go on. Yeah.
So I like that it just gets sort of straight into it, and you don't have to worry about the setup. It was great. I didn't think anything was bad about the film.
No,
but
no.
I didn't. You know what? One aspect of the film that I didn't think was as good as the first one was actually the section of music, the songs. There were some good ones.
I quite like the music in it. It wasn't quite as... I think it's because it's already been done.
Yeah.
It didn't have quite the same impact, but I did enjoy the music. I thought
there were some very good songs in there, but I just thought there wasn't as many instantly sing-along catchy songs that you instantly go, oh, that's a great tune. That was just me as I was watching it. I was just thinking that, but I mean that's a minor gripe, really.
But then if you get the soundtrack in your car and you get to know those songs,
exactly.
the next time you listen to that, watch that film,
you'll
then go, there's that song.
Yeah. The opening scene was brilliant with
that monster coming through.
With the weird monster, but I loved that it was all focused on Baby Groot.
Yeah,
that was very clever. So all the rest was happening in the background, and all you cared about was watching Baby Groot dancing. Yeah, it was quite surreal.
And you just see him flying around. And,
it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good.
It could have been really cheesy and not well done. But it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
Especially as a lot of those scenes were in the trailers, so it suggested it was quite a major plot point in the film, and it wasn't at all. It was just the opening scene, of the film. Yeah. Which you just see in the background.
Yeah.
So that was really clever. I thought
it was a really good opening, and I thought it was. I didn't think it was. I said I thought it was better than the first one, which I do think that. But if I was to calm down with it and watch it at a later date, I would. If it wasn't better than the first one, what I would say was it isn't worse than the first one.
Yeah.
It's equal to or greater than the first one. I just felt like it had more. The first one's good because it did just feel like a middle part of a 3-part story. Yeah. I'm not saying they're only going to do 3, but it did just feel like it fit into the story perfectly.
Yeah.
And I thought this one had more emotional moments.
Definitely.
But it never got to the point where it was mushy.
Yeah.
It sort of sometimes veered into that territory, but then the comedy pulls it back in, and it was just done perfectly. It wasn't mushy enough to make you vomit into your mouth.
Yeah.
But it wasn't light-hearted enough for it to be not taken seriously. It was it's hard to explain, but it's, I don't know. It's just I know we've all done a spoiler. Well, major spoilers. When Ego was talking to Star-Lord about his putting the tumour into his mother's head, and it just made you. I could hear people in the cinema going, "Ooh."
Yeah, that was an ooh moment.
Yeah,
because I didn't know about that at all.
No.
Really?
Well, I kind of got the gist of that's what it would be.
Yeah.
But when Ego reveals his master plan, where he's actually had hundreds and possibly thousands, possibly millions of children, all across the galaxy, to find one that could harness his power, so he could take over the galaxy. When he reveals that, it does get quite dark.
It is dark.
And
as soon as he says about putting the tumour in his mum, I love that Star-Lord just shoots the crap out to him straight away. There's no hesitation.
No, he just starts shooting him and gets angry.
Which he would.
Yeah, it's weird because it was a film which is primarily about Star-Lord, but he wasn't really the focus in a strange way. He was, obviously, because that is about Quill's mum and his heritage, but I don't know, it just felt like it focused quite a lot on like Rocket quite a lot.
Yeah.
They gave him a bit of a more of an emotional backstory, didn't they?
I kind of liked that the characters got split up, actually.
Yes,
it worked well for
like
the
that.
story, and I loved having Yondu back into it.
One thing I did find, I don't think anyone's going to agree with me here, but I felt that perhaps towards the end Yondu was given a bit too much attention with his death scene and his funeral, and it just seemed to drag just that slight little bit too much. Like I didn't find him. I wasn't really invested in him as a character. I know he's sort of a fan favourite, and he was in the comics. He's one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't know. Not saying it was bad, but towards the end, it kind of felt like there was too much emphasis on him as a character.
It felt a little forced that he became an instant sort of good guy, a proper good guy, because he was, sort of a castaway from the scavengers.
Yeah,
and then
I suppose it's revealed, isn't it, that he's actually the whole time he kind of protected Quill from Ego.
Because he knew what Ego was. Yeah,
but
which was good.
And I know he wasn't really a full-on bad guy in the first one, because he did have that sort of. He was sort of like a middle ground, wasn't he? Sort of a roguish type character.
He's basically a mercenary. He's just out for himself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
I did feel an emotion when he died, though. I did feel sad. I really did.
Yeah. And when all the ships turn up to give him
I love that. I actually had a tear in my eye.
Really?
I genuinely did.
Yeah,
when
my
they
wife did.
Brilliant. Thanks for that.
I'm sure many of the other wusses in the cinema. No, it was an emotional scene. It
aside,
it was
because obviously early in the film, I mean, Sylvester Stallone. I loved that he was in it.
I saw his name appear in the credits at the start. I was like, that's weird.
Awesome. And see, I think there's a potential spin-off happening, because you've got Stallone, really? And then two of the other ones that appear at the end were Ving Rhames and Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, okay.
Did you not notice
I didn't even
those
pick that
two?
Up. No.
Yeah, those two obviously big actors, and they play the two that turn up at the end and actually say something to the screen. Yeah. The other two scavengers.
Yeah.
And then, did you remember there was the clip at one of the post-credit sequences was of them?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was Stallone saying, "I know it's taken this long for us to get together, but now we've got work to do," or something along those lines.
So you're thinking Expendables type,
kind
Suicide Squad type movie, maybe?
I mean, I'm sure fans of the comics will know those characters and know whether they do go off on their own and have their own stories.
Yeah,
but I don't see why they would have got Ving Rhames and Michelle Yeoh in just for tiny little cameos.
No, or David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, that was surreal, wasn't it? That was good, though. I liked how that worked.
Yeah.
That was clever. And I loved Stallone as well. I thought he was really good in it.
Yeah, for the little time he had.
People slag him off as an actor, but I quite like him, actually.
Oh, he's an Oscar winner. Can't really slag him off that much, can we?
Yeah, I know. That's quite a surreal thing.
I mean, I think these days he does verge on just drivel, as in... Literally, there's so much work done. He's
got a few
incoherent.
He's got a few lip issues, definitely.
Yeah, he's a bit incoherent, but I think he's still.
I like him. He works as an action hero.
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Where were we? Yeah, Yondu. So yeah, I see what you mean, but I did think it worked at the end when he passed away. I thought it was a good end for his character. I thought Kurt Russell was brilliant.
He was brilliant. Yeah,
he's brilliant.
Yeah, he was really good.
Does.
He was really good because you sort of liked him in the scenes where you're supposed to like him, and hated him in the scenes where you're supposed to hate him.
See, I didn't know he was a bad guy because
really?
I know nothing about the character.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know going in, but I kind of got the feeling, sort of when they actually reach his, well, I'll say his planet, that there was something untoward.
You get the feeling, obviously, because you've got Mantis there, and she's trying to reveal something, and that's when I started thinking there's something off here.
When she says to Drax, "I've got something to tell you,"
yes, exactly,
and she doesn't.
but before that, I was thinking, this is clever. They're doing a film without a big bad guy. I thought it was because it does happen occasionally.
Yeah. But he wasn't a traditional bad guy, though, was he? He was. Well, he was. He was
kind of like a Bond villain.
Yeah, he wants to take over the galaxy.
He was trying to take over the entire galaxy.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is even, big. There's a big scale thing.
Yeah.
And he was doing it in a very clever way. I love the idea of him planting his seed on all these planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that. That was good.
That take over.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a very good film. I liked that Nebula was back in it, and that eventually she becomes sort of a good guy again.
Yeah,
I liked that because it gave her character sort of a purpose.
Yeah, if she was just another baddie,
it would have been boring just having them fighting again for no real reason, just because she was jealous because she wasn't Thanos' favourite. Yeah, it was kind of nice that they both revealed, I just want to be sisters. Yeah, I kind of again, it could have been really cheesy, but I thought it worked.
It's lots and lots of scenes where it could have been cheesy, but it works, and then there's just perhaps as soon as it starts to verge into too mushy, there's a bit of comedy which it snaps back. And I
thought Drax was very funny.
Oh, he was really good. Yeah.
He was, considering that the guy isn't an actor, he does a good job with that character. Yeah, and he had some very funny moments.
Oh yeah, really I think it was a very funny film. Yeah, as a whole, it's very good. Yeah, I thought Rocket was really good. I think he's one of the highlights. Baby Groot. I did like Baby Groot. He was. I think maybe. Don't want to slag it off because it was good and he was cute. He was funny, but it was almost got that sort of minion effect where people liked it from the first film, so let's really push it in the second film.
Maybe a little bit.
It didn't come across like that really.
No, I think they got it out of its system in the opening scene.
Yes,
I was worried when I saw the opening scene. I thought, I hope he's not the focus of the film all the way through. Yeah, and he wasn't. So he played his role in the film, but I didn't think they went over the top with him, which they could have done easily.
Yeah, they could have done. I think that's what it had the potential to be. Yeah. Completely over the top, and at the end you get a teenage group.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously there's 5 post-credit sequences, which was a new record.
None of them particularly relevant.
No, I was really hoping for a link with the Avengers or something.
Yeah, but I suppose that's just harkening back to the first one where the post-credit scene was Howard the Duck.
Yes.
So, I mean,
and he had a cameo.
And he was in it,
yeah.
I have a feeling he's going to be like a running joke.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be the next one, and if there's another one, probably the next one.
Well, they're doing Guardians 3, but obviously before that, they'll be joining the Avengers in Infinity Wars.
Of course they will, yeah. Actually, I think, it's before the third one, isn't it? Infinity Wars.
Infinity Wars is the next
next one, yeah.
Well, you've got, obviously, Spider-Man coming out and Black Panther coming out, both this year, and then next year is the Infinity Wars.
Infinity War, yeah.
And then Guardians, they've announced they're doing a third one, but not when it's due out.
Because it says at the end of the film they will return.
Yes.
So I had a feeling they would.
James Gunn has confirmed he's writing and directing.
I like that. I like that because usually it's a case of that director does the first one and maybe moves on to another project, or does the first 2 and then loses interest, and then you get a third one which is just seems disjointed. It's like Star Trek. You get 2 which are quite consistent in their design and quality, then you get the third one which is still good but
lacking something,
that special something. So I'm glad he's going to be in it, so it's going to be consistent. It's going to have the same, he's going to write the characters as he knows them and won't try and, I assume he won't try and change them too much. So I like that he's stayed on to
although obviously after they've been through the Infinity Wars, who knows where their characters will be. Are any of them going to get killed off? or you just don't know, do you?
I think the Infinity War will kill off
someone who's got to die.
Someone
in those two films.
In those films, yeah.
Because otherwise,
money would
would
be
just
on.
work.
God, I don't know. Potentially, I'd say maybe Captain America or Iron Man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not basing that on anything.
Well, I know Chris Evans has said he's not doing any more.
That's
after Infinity
I think
Wars.
that's possibly
so I guess Captain America will be the obvious one to get killed off.
Yeah, Captain America, maybe Iron Man.
I mean, they could all get killed off because I don't think any of them have signed contracts for more films after Infinity Wars and the second part of Infinity Wars.
No. Oh, when Thor Ragnarok's quite soon, isn't it?
Oh yeah, sorry, that's this year as well. Yeah, so we've got 3 more films this year.
Yeah, I think the original Marvel cast, so your Chris Hemsworth, your Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., etc. I think they're starting now to run the risk of being stale.
Yes.
Like the stories are now going to start to.
Yeah.
Grate.
Well, there's been 3 Iron Man. There's been 3 Captain America. There's been 3 Thor.
Yeah.
Hulk can't have his own film. That just wouldn't work. Obviously, he's in Thor.
Yeah.
3 is a good number for most characters.
Yeah. If the character's interesting enough and can carry 3 films, it will work. I think if a character isn't potentially, I'm not saying the Hulk isn't interesting, but that character has its limits. As in, when it becomes the Hulk, which is what people want to see.
Yeah. He's not.
You're not going to get much speech from him.
He's not humanoid anymore in a way.
Yeah,
he's not interacting.
You're essentially
in a
watching
way.
Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think a character like Hulk can potentially. I know he's obviously had many films in the past. He had the 2 sort of Hollywood ones. He's had the Lou Ferrigno ones and whatnot. But I think that as he is now, as good as Mark Ruffalo is, I think he could probably. I'd be happy for him just to have perhaps 1 film.
Potentially,
maybe.
yes.
But I'm sure there's plenty of Hulk films.
The thing you've got to look at, the Iron Man films are quite standalone, but the Captain America films and the Thor films, all of them are related to the overall story arc of Thanos and the Infinity Stones. Every single one, they're all setting up the Infinity War story.
I mean, so setting up this story for years
since the start.
Yeah,
but but those 2 more so than Iron Man, because the Iron Man films, not only were they crap in my opinion. But they weren't really anything to do with the Infinity Stones story
not
arc.
Really, no. That those ones I think were more gearing towards the Avengers.
Yeah.
Before the Avengers was not before it was a thing, but before it was a part of that universe.
Yeah.
It was more about setting the scene of setting up the characters. Because I know we had the Ed Norton. Officially is canon, but the Ed Norton one first, and you had Iron Man, but. You didn't have Captain America at that point. You didn't have Thor at that point. You didn't have Hawkeye at that point. Didn't have. I think you did have Black Widow actually. I think she was in the. She was in the second one, wasn't she?
Yeah, the second one.
But you didn't have them as a whole all together.
No.
So Iron Man I think was setting up the Avengers rather than setting up the Infinity War. But when the Avengers all got together, because that's when the Avengers is the first time we see Thanos.
Yes.
As a character, so that's when I think the momentum started to. Really roll, and
but because they've now got the Infinity Wars on the horizon, where are they going after that? They've not. I don't think they've announced whether they're continuing with the same characters or whether they're going to try and renew the franchise in some way. I mean, they can only go on for so long. But if they try and do new characters, I don't know that they've got characters that people care about enough to watch.
No, I'm sure there is interesting characters out there, but as you say, the most famous ones would arguably be the Avengers and Spider-Man and I suppose the X-Men, but that's not their franchise, so it's going to be.
They'll struggle to drum up interest, I think, in new characters because people just want more Captain America and more Iron Man.
Yeah.
So they may just continue their stories. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's hard to tell, but I mean, because the Thanos is essentially the big bad of the Avengers universe. So once he's assuming he's going to be defeated, once he's defeated, obviously there's more villains out there, but where can that go? Well,
they've confirmed a Doctor Strange 2 film, but that's not going to be for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So obviously he's an interesting character, and obviously Ant-Man versus Ant-Man and Wasp,
and
Wasp, but I don't know when that's due either.
No, I'm looking forward to that. I thought Ant-Man was very good.
I loved Ant-Man.
Yeah,
I thought
it was one of the best ones.
But I don't know if that's due before or after Infinity Wars.
I think it's going to be after.
I do.
Don't know, actually.
Well, Infinity Wars is next year.
Yeah, it's
so
got to be
unless
after.
they're going to try and
It's
squeeze
gotta
it
be
out
after.
before that, earlier in the year, maybe.
I haven't heard anything about that.
No,
though.
I haven't. So
Who
I don't
knows?
know, but how do we get onto this?
We're talking about
discussion?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, of course we were. Yeah, so and obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be Infinity Wars, and then they're getting their third film afterwards. So they're obviously continuing the characters afterwards. So maybe they'll do the same with the others.
Do you feel that Infinity War is going to be overkill? Is there going to be too much?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Because you've got so many characters.
There's
involved.
Something like 64 characters they've said
God.
in the film.
It just seems,
which is
it feels
obscene.
like it's going to be difficult to. I know there's essentially 2 films, but
yeah, but they've now said that only the first part is called Infinity Wars. The second one is an untitled film now.
Yeah,
which suggests that they're squeezing the whole story into that one film. But I don't know how they can do that.
No,
not with that many characters. Obviously,
No,
they're still going to draw all those characters together. The Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I know Doctor Strange is going into Thor, so he's entering into the fray, and obviously Ant-Man and Spider-Man have both been sort of dragged in now.
Yeah.
But to get those 2 big franchises, the Guardians and the Avengers together, that can't just happen in 5 minutes.
No, it's gonna. Well, if it is, it probably won't be that dramatic. I mean, I've got faith that it's going to be.
I'm sure it'll be good.
It's going to be executed well, but
Yeah.
it just feels it's such a huge undertaking to get that many characters into one.
Because every minor character from the other films is going to be in it as well, basically. To have 64 characters.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about like the Glenn Close character from Guardians being in it, and who played the Hobbit?
The Hobbit.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
Yeah, his character from Captain.
What are you talking about?
Captain America. My mind goes blank when it comes to names.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman obviously was in Civil War.
Unnecessarily.
His character will be in it. Well, doesn't he? His character actually becomes a superhero, I think.
Oh, he might do. I just thought him as a person.
I think that's why they picked someone like him to play that part, because he's going to become a bigger character. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe he becomes a superhero or something. I don't know. That's what I heard. You know, but that's what they're talking about, is having all of those smaller characters in the film somehow, as well as all the main characters. So yeah, massive overkill, but who knows? I have faith, because the 2 guys directing it have already directed something in the Marvel universe, haven't they? Which one did they do?
I don't know who's directing it.
The two brothers, the Reno brothers, is it?
I don't know.
Or Russo
brothers sounds about right.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
Yeah. Didn't they do Civil War?
Wait, I think you're right.
I actually have Civil War right here.
Yeah, I think you may be right.
Yeah, Anthony and Joe Russo.
Yeah.
They did Civil War, and they're the ones directing the Infinity Wars films.
Oh, okay.
So they're already part of.
So they've already got a bit of practice of getting lots of characters together in one place.
Yeah. So that was their warm up, and now they're doing it.
Oh, okay. Again. Yeah. So is it?
So, fingers crossed.
They got their at least they've had a go and.
Yeah. But on the whole, I thought Guardians 2 was very good. I really do want to watch it again, because I never appreciate these films first time, because I'm always overwhelmed in the cinema by just being excited of watching a new film. Yeah.
You just try and take everything in.
And you just can't. I very rarely come out of the film completely enthralled and sort of captivated and remembering the film.
Yeah.
I come out and go, I enjoyed it, but I can't really remember it. Quite often, because there's so much to try and take in.
Yeah,
because when I watch films like this, I'm always looking for Easter eggs and references and stuff as well.
Especially in these films, it's in a regular everyday film that's not related to anything. You don't necessarily do that, but when you've got Marvel films, Star Wars films,
that's it. There's going to be things going
Easter
on.
eggs tucked in there somewhere. Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to watching it again. But I did thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would give it. What would I give it out of 10? I think I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there.
Yeah, we can change that opinion if on the second viewing.
Ratings don't really mean anything, do they?
No, they don't at all. I just fancy doing one.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a 7 or maybe even an 8. Maybe pushing an 8.
Maybe a 7.5.
Maybe a 7.5. Yeah, no, it's very good. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. 4 thumbs up.
You can't see that, but I'm giving him 2 thumbs up.
We have 2 thumbs up. We have officially, I can confirm there is 2 thumbs up. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Cool.
Okay, should we have
a quick break, and then
we'll do the top 5 thing.
We'll start on our actual top 5.
And this is the actual top 5 coming up of the top 5 thing. Jingle. Ooh. Welcome back, and we're going to do the top 5 thing.
Whoop, whoop.
This is the top 5 thing. This is the films proper now. This is the actual...
Yes, no more honourable mentions. This is the best 5 sci-fi films of all time,
according to us.
In our honest opinions.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, let's go with your number 5.
My number 5.
We should have a drum roll.
Can you do a drum roll? We actually do have a bucket in front of us. The Thing.
Look at that. That sounded great, didn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Probably
the Thing,
but okay.
the Thing, the 80s Thing, not the original black
the
and
John
white
Carpenter,
thing. The John Carpenter Thing.
Now, conveniently, this is also in my list.
It's also a Kurt Russell film, so we've got a,
and it's a
this
Kurt
is a
Russell
Kurt Russell
film.
special
Yes.
this week.
It's actually number 4 on my list.
Oh, okay. Rated slightly higher. You
Indeed.
have a higher opinion of the
I
Thing
do.
than,
but
it's
your pick first, so you tell me why you think it deserves your number 5
I don't
spot.
need to explain why it's...
You do, because
the
there
top
may be
film.
People listening who have never heard of the film
Never
before,
heard of the Thing.
or never seen it.
Stop listening. Switch this off.
Yeah, it's quite frankly, if you've not seen the Thing, we don't want you listening.
Switch this off. In fact, switch this off. Go to the HMV.
You were going to say go to Blockbusters and hire
I was going to
it,
go
weren't
to... I was going to say go to HMV or go to your...
Don't go
wherever.
to HMV, we don't want them to get business.
Ooh.
Not anymore.
We're not just down on HMV, by the way.
They treated us poorly.
We both used to... That's how we met, actually, wasn't it?
It was. We were both slaves for
both
HMV.
slaves for HMV. But if HMV want to send us some free stuff for advertising, then go ahead. Not going to happen. We don't want pure cards, though.
No.
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
What is so good about the Thing?
Get yourself down HMV and buy it for £3. It's just great, isn't it? It's just the special effects.
I'm convinced.
The special effects are great. The acting is great. The atmosphere is great.
The music.
It's
typical John Carpenter synthesizer.
It's brilliant.
It's just brilliant. And Kurt Russell. And in fact, to be honest, a really good ensemble cast.
Yeah,
just,
really good.
It's one of those films where they cast it fantastically.
Yeah. You just don't know who you can trust, and it's...
Yeah, and do you know what I really like about the film? And this is something that would never happen in a modern version. No women. And I don't mean that in a sexist way, but it means that all the focus is purely on the story, and there's no silly love interest or anything to distract you from a good, scary story.
Although, you could argue that The Thing from 2011, 12, 13, I'm not sure which one it was, has a female lead.
It does,
There's not necessarily any...
But you're sort of making my point for me, though. The fact that they made a woman in the lead, that was my point, is that a modern film, even if it was not as a love interest, Hollywood just seems incapable of making a film without a woman in it, if you see what I mean. And I know this is sounding really bad.
You're making my life really hard. This is going to be really hard to edit this episode.
I have nothing against women in film, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, it was nice that back when that one was made, they had that freedom. They didn't need a woman in the film. It was a load of blokes in a research station in the Arctic. They didn't need a woman there just for the sake of having a sexy woman in the film for the male audience. That's what I'm trying to say. Nowadays, you would never get an all-male cast in a film like that. They would always say, we've got to have an attractive woman in there for some reason, because people will demand something to look at. Yeah. And it would distract from the story. That's all I'm saying, is I like that it was like that. And it also it isolated the people more, I think, because they were really on their own. There was no relationships going on up there in the middle of the Arctic. It's purely men and nature and nothing else.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't really work if there was a couple there. No, because they would surely notice the change in the other.
Exactly, it would be a very different dynamic for all of the characters.
I'm sure that all the guys there were particularly. I'm sure they was all good friends, but not to the point where they knew.
That's it. They're not. Nobody's sleeping in the same room, and there's no camaraderie and flirtation and that sort of thing between the sexes. Yeah, and I just like that it was a real sort of man versus not nature obviously, but man versus alien kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. I think
Alien.
I just think that it really adds to the isolation of the characters. You know, it's just.
I think that's why it's one of the rare films where characters can be isolated, but not in space. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It can be not an alien film, as in the franchise Alien. It's a film about an alien,
but
with a crew of people isolated, but on Earth.
Yeah.
It's not in space, but it's such a bleak environment. It's just.
Yeah. And setting in the Arctic is brilliant because obviously everyone knows the Arctic is very isolated, and obviously it adds to the atmosphere tremendously when there's snowstorms and such.
Yeah.
And obviously it lends itself to the plot as well, the fact that it was frozen for so long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's the tension in the film because you as an audience, you don't know who's an alien. And that's what makes it work, is that you're finding out what's going on at the same time as them.
Yeah, and I think it's the unexpected as well, is in that you don't really get to see the alien's true form.
Yeah.
Because it's always something different.
That's the genius of the alien creature.
You never know what's going to happen next. I mean, initially when the alien when the alien becomes apparent, it's when it's as a dog, and then the dog starts to transform. Its head splits open.
It shoots all its tentacles out and
comes whipping out
goo
of it. Sprays acid all over the other dogs.
Like you say, the special effects are fantastic.
Yeah,
all practical stuff because they didn't do CGI back then. It was all practical.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And it just looks so much better than crappy CGI. It really does.
Oh yeah, it works really well, and it's
actually got some nice sort of comic touches in time.
Oh, it's darkly comic at times. Yeah,
the bit when they're the autopsy and he pushes down and he bites his hands off and then the head falls off the table and grows legs and runs away. I mean, it's just brilliant.
That scene is just. I'm pretty sure that's what everyone will say is their favourite scene.
It's cinema
but
gold.
It's just brilliant. The guy's chest opens up
as a mouth.
Bites
his hands off.
Eats a man's hands. The head falls backwards off the table, splits away from the body.
Grows spider legs.
Shoots a giant tongue out, grabs a chair leg.
Oh yeah, I forgot that bit.
Drags itself away, sprouts spider legs and eyes, and trundles off down the corridor.
Yeah.
What the?
I mean, that's just genius, isn't it? It really is.
It's to me, it's like it's kind of almost mirrors the alien chestburster scene.
Yeah.
In that a group of people all sat round a table. Something horrific happens and they're all just flabbergasted. They're just standing and staring, and it's just like that. And this, the guy's response where he just sees the alien walking off and he's like, "You can't be fucking kidding me."
Yeah.
Like
it's what you would say in that situation.
You would have that same reaction. Apart from being absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
You'd just look at that and think, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it's good because it is talking about being terrified. It's quite scary.
Oh yeah, because
not
you
so
don't
much when
know
adult.
Who's an alien. You don't know if at any minute someone is going to do something alien and and start killing people.
Yeah, and it's as well the alien, the way it screams.
Oh yeah,
when they trap the guy. I do apologise. I don't actually remember any of the characters' names, but when they trap that guy out in the ice and they think he's the alien. He's sort of kneeling down in the ice. And he just looks at them and starts making that horrible screeching noise.
And his hand is alien, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got an alien
It's
hand.
the ginger guy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
and then they set him on fire.
They set him on fire and burn him out in the snow.
Right, the noise it makes, the screech.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it really is.
It's terrifying.
I want to go watch it.
Oh, I do. It's such a good film.
And the ending, I love the fact that the ending is very open, with just the two of them still alive, and it's all burning down around them, and they're both just exhausted, and they basically look at each other and go, well, if one of us is the alien, let's just let it happen, there's nothing we can do about it. If you're an alien and you're going to kill me, just do it.
Yeah.
And they both have that same attitude.
Yeah.
There's actually an interesting fan theory I wrote.
Is it about
I read recently.
Is it about the bottle?
The bottle that he gives him.
That he actually will have gasoline in it.
That's it, yeah.
Because it's a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
And Childs drinks that.
Yeah, and doesn't react.
To drinking
Obviously,
petrol.
that is just a theory, but it's
apparently John Carpenter himself has actually confirmed on Twitter, of all places, that he isn't an alien.
Right. Okay.
I can't think. I
Well, if
I
he's
don't know
not,
what
then
the
it just means that the bottle was just a drink.
Yeah.
But obviously, the fan
Yeah,
theory is that Kurt Russell's character is giving him a bottle of diesel to drink to see if he reacts to it or not.
Because the alien wouldn't be able to
You wouldn't
differentiate
know.
petrol from whiskey or vodka or whatever it was. But yeah, because in the sequel,
Prequel.
there's a it's a prequel. Yeah, beg your pardon. In the prequel, I can't remember what the actual scene is, but when one of the characters is in the snowmobile, and I think he had an earring, and she notices that he's no longer wearing an earring because the alien can't recreate metal objects. So that's how she figures out he's the alien,
right?
Because he's not wearing his earring anymore.
Yeah,
and things like that. So it's like, I think I quite like those little touches. I know that's the prequel. That's not that film. But speaking of, did you like the prequel?
I did. Yeah.
I did.
It was clever. I loved.
Nowhere near as good as the.
No, it's never going to be. But I did like that it led directly into the original film.
Yeah.
Literally scene for scene.
Yeah.
I thought that added to the opening of the John Carpenter film.
Yeah.
It makes you understand why they're chasing the dog and who they are.
Yeah, and the recreation of the, because in the original, when I say the original, I mean the 80s one, they go to that other base and see like the axe in the wall.
Yes.
The guy dead in the sea where he slit his own wrists or his own throat or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's and the block of ice obviously as well.
Yeah, and the block of ice, and it's that prequel actually did really well to set all of those scenes up.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with the way they actually
it was what a prequel should be.
Yeah.
Not just making it for the sake of making money.
Fan service.
It was actually continuing the story or starting the story in the right way.
Yeah, no, it's good.
But it's one of those films that I can watch over and over again and not get bored.
Yeah, I could watch.
I mean the scene where they're testing the blood with the heated bit of metal, the tension in that scene. Even though you know what's going to happen now, that I've seen it dozens of times,
I always forget which one is the
one. I
do
sometimes. Yeah. And it's just.
But the brilliant thing about that scene is when they do the close-ups of the petri dish with the blood and the heated wire going into the blood, and it sort of fizzles out. On each close-up, it's because obviously Kurt Russell was the one who's holding the petri dish. Obviously, the special effect when it finally does touch the alien springs out of the dish. So to get that effect, they obviously had to have Kurt Russell holding Kurt Russell's hand would be a prosthetic, and obviously some sort of hand puppet or just some sort of hydraulic pushes the alien out of the petri dish. But even for the scenes where it wasn't the alien, they still used the prosthetic hand so that it didn't look completely unnatural when it came to the alien jumping out of the the alien reacting to the wire. That's just excellent. It's really well thought out.
It's very
idea,
clever because
it's obvious people. That's Kurt Russell's hands. Hand.
And as soon as they see a fake hand,
a giant, great big foam hand.
That's it. It gives away.
It's obvious which one's going to be the alien.
Yeah.
But if it's always a foam hand, there's no way of predicting which one is going to be the alien. I thought it was really clever.
That's very clever filmmaking. It really is to think about that in advance.
Yeah.
And
really good.
It's genius, that whole scene, and then obviously it's the guy tied to the end of the bench.
Oh yeah.
And he starts, and there's still another guy tied, and he starts just shaking, and then the bench starts riding up, and he, oh my god,
they're just desperately trying to get away from him.
He eats, I can't remember the guy's name, but he sort of, his head splits open and comes down and bites the other guy's head, and then he picks him up.
He's holding him upside down.
And he's holding him upside down, like biting him by the head and waving his legs in the air. Oh my god, it's just superb.
It's horrific, that film.
It's horrific, but just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it is brilliant.
It really is.
Brilliant.
For a horror film, it's a very enjoyable horror film.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Some horror films can be quite cheesy, some can be genuinely scary.
Some are just for that, unsettling, and you can't watch them for the sake of... I mean, I hate scary stuff.
Yeah.
As a complete coward that I am, I can't stand playing video games that make me jump.
Yeah.
I can't stand watching films that make me jump. I hate being made to jump in a film. I don't mind it if it's in a film and it happens. I can accept that, but I don't generally watch horror films that are scary because I don't like the feeling of it. I just find it's unsettling. I just don't like watching that.
No, it's not enjoyable.
I don't find it enjoyable, but. Films like The Thing, even the scenes that make me jump, I just still love that film.
Yeah,
it's just just great.
Yeah, it's raw because of when it was made. It wasn't all special effects and things. It was just about a load of actors doing the job and making a good story.
I mean, the special effects do factor a lot.
Yeah,
I think they really do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of practical effects over CGI.
Yeah.
Whereas if that film was made now, it'd all be CGI. And unless unless a special director really went in and said this has to be practical effects. I think
since maybe it wasn't the first film that did it, but with things like The Force Awakens, where J.J. Abrams learned from the prequels to start using practical effects. I think practical effects are almost making a comeback.
They are a bit, because people are getting sick of CGI.
Sick of CGI. It just looks CGI. Unrealistic, and some CGI is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but it depends what it is. I mean, when it comes, human eye we can see what isn't real. Yeah, if that makes sense. We can see if something is CGI, and it just takes you. Depending on how good the film is, but most of the time it takes you out of the film.
Well, I think we discussed this on the episode 2, where like the orcs in Lord of the Rings were all practical effects, and then in The Hobbit, the main big white orc was CGI, and it looked terrible. Yeah, he really stood out, and he didn't need to be CGI.
No, not at all.
I don't know why they went down that route, and it ruins the film in a way, because you're constantly looking at it going, oh, he's a big CGI white orc. Yeah. Why wasn't he a practical bloke in a suit?
Yeah, exactly.
And it really does make a difference, and it grounds things, because in something like The Thing, the special effects of the alien, they're not trying to look realistic because it's an alien. It doesn't need to look 100% realistic because it's an alien interpreting itself as a dog or a head with legs. So it doesn't matter that it looks like a puppet, because it is essentially, because it's an alien interpreting itself as an object. So it can sort of get away with slightly dodgy puppetry and whatever, but it just works. For some reason in that film it just works.
It does. It's a bloody good film.
Yeah, and obviously Kurt Russell is just brilliant in it.
Yeah, as he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's a
and
link.
I love it. I love when he's playing chess and he's a sore loser and he pours his whiskey on the he pours his whiskey over the keyboard. Just little bits like that.
Pours his whiskey over the keyboard and it shorts out the whole computer.
Yeah,
come on,
I've spilled whiskey on a keyboard before. It didn't short the computer out.
2 out of 10 rubbish.
That's 80s
nonsense.
Technology for you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was my top 5. That was my number 5. That was your number 5
and my number 4.
So what's your number 5 then?
My number 5. Should we have a drum roll for this?
Go on then.
RoboCop. The Paul Verhoeven RoboCop.
Yeah, it's not the remake. Not the 2014.
No,
RoboCop?
Which I did enjoy, but it wasn't RoboCop.
It wasn't RoboCop.
It was a child's version of RoboCop. Yeah. The original RoboCop is one of the goriest, most realistic films you'll ever see.
Feature a lot of gore.
That's true. I think we're a bit of gore fanatics. Yeah.
I think it's weird actually, because I don't actually consider myself to be into gore.
No, well the thing is, it's not gore for the sake of gore. Like most modern horror films are just gore for the sake of gore now. After films like Hostel and Saw, every horror film is just about gore, and it's not to do with the story. But in RoboCop,
the thing is though, it's in RoboCop and The Thing, they're almost supposed to be ludicrously gory.
Yes,
they're supposed. I mean, especially RoboCop, satirically. It's supposed to be ludicrous.
It's very tongue in cheek. The whole film.
Yeah,
it's a really bleak view of the future, basically, isn't it? That's the idea.
Yeah.
But there's something about the film. I mean, I love the premise of the film. The idea that a guy who's just about dead gets made into a robot. It's a very clever, simple idea. But there are so many scenes in that film that stand out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just and again the noise of his footsteps.
Yeah.
When RoboCop walks. I mean, it's just little touches like that just make it work.
Yeah. It's great.
And Ed 209. What a
10 seconds.
What a scene! I mean the tension again in that scene.
5 seconds to comply.
And he's running around. Take it. Put the gun down. Surrender. Hold your hands out. And it doesn't work. Unplug it. It still doesn't work.
And in the uncut version, he just blows the guy to pieces.
Pummels the guy with bullets.
So good.
He shreds his chest to pieces.
Oh yeah.
And you can feel it. The sound
effects.
The thud.
Yeah.
Oh, what a scene.
Yeah.
And the bad guys. I love bad guys that are just so over the top bad.
Yeah, they just
stupidly evil, nasty people that just like killing for the sake of it. It's not like they're trying to take over the world or anything. They're just nasty people out for number one, just trying to kill people and make
killing
money.
Each other.
Yeah.
Can you fly, Bobby? It's just
Oh, they're just so good. And they like the big gun.
Oh, that big grenade launcher thing.
It's like a big laser thing.
Yeah.
And it's so unrealistically massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obscene and it's just daft, but just brilliant. It just works in the film.
Getting sprayed with toxic waste and melting and turning into a mutant, and then getting run over and exploding.
I mean, yeah. It's one of those things that could be really cheesy, but it just works.
See, that was when I. Well, I shouldn't have been watching the whole thing as a kid anyway. But when I was a kid, that whole scene was completely cut out.
Yeah,
it used to be he got covered in toxic waste, and that was the last you saw.
Yeah, you didn't see him come out of the toxic waste melting.
Not at all. You
didn't see him get hit by the van. No, I mean, when he gets hit, he splatters
all over the windscreen
into liquid all over the van. I mean, it's utterly disgusting.
Yeah,
but it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And the actual, obviously, the story itself, I love. He starts remembering himself in the past. He goes and visits his house, and I like that aspect of it because it actually is he's telling a good story. It isn't just being violent for the sake of being violent as a film, you know.
Yeah.
And of course the opening bit when he actually gets captured for the first time, and he's got him on the floor. Because he's been shot in the chest, and he's with the shotgun, and then he goes to his hand, and you see his hand get shot and explode,
blow over the floor. Yeah,
just brilliant, absolutely.
He gets ripped to shreds.
It's so good. Yeah, that's it. And then you see it from the side, and you see the guys shooting, but you don't see him, and you just see them just shooting shot after shot into him.
And there's the scene where he goes to the RoboCop raids the cocaine factory, and just kills everyone.
He just obliterates it, doesn't he?
Kills everyone.
Yeah. And he starts throwing him through the windows and stuff, doesn't he? Just picking him up and
who do you work for?
Yeah. And he captures it on video, doesn't he? Which he plays back
Dick
later
Jones.
in the film. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It really is.
Really
I mean, it's Paul Verhoeven doing what he does. I mean, obviously he went on to do Starship Troopers as well, which is another one of my favourite films. It's so over the top and daft.
Yeah.
But it just works, doesn't it?
He does his satire very well.
Yeah.
He's
sorry, go on.
No, go on.
That was him. That was his almost, I think, his RoboCop sequel in a way, Starship Troopers. He took the satirical side to the extreme with all the news broadcasts and public announcements and things. So I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if those two came as a box set.
Yeah.
If, for example, they kind of...
They're the same style.
They're good as a part, sort of companion pieces. You could watch those two back to back and get the theme.
Yeah, definitely.
But what was I saying? Do you enjoy RoboCop 2?
No.
It's not as good.
I don't really remember it. I don't own it. I vaguely remember it's about drugs. There's some sort of drug involved. Yeah, there's sweeping around the city.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. There's a villain called Kane.
That's
and he gets killed, and his brain gets.
Oh, he gets put into a robot.
His gang transfer his brain into a killer robot, and it's got like a bad CGI face, and
does RoboCop fly in that one, or is that the third one?
No, that's the third one. Oh, okay. That's the third one, which I
don't think I've ever seen.
No, you don't need to. Absolute garbage.
Yeah, and then they did a TV show as well.
Yeah,
which again I never saw. But
I didn't see that. I'm just not interested.
It just doesn't need sequels or anything.
To honest, it doesn't need anything. Just need. Oh yeah, sorry, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it just needs the first one. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's a classic, and again, it's one of those films that doesn't age. It's still as good now to watch as it always was.
It's very watchable.
Yeah, it really is. I haven't actually watched it for a few years, so I need to.
No, I haven't actually. No, it's probably. No, yeah, it probably was about 2, maybe 3. Well, no, probably about 3-4 years ago now. Actually,
it's too long.
It is too long. It is too long. Why didn't they shoot him in the face?
Because then, when he was a robot, he wouldn't look like a human.
No.
But you would, wouldn't you? If you were trying to kill someone and you had a shotgun, you'd go straight for his face, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Were we evil?
Yeah.
I think we've just
We're
revealed our
thinking of
dark
how
side
to finish
of it.
Murphy off.
I suppose the thing is, if you shoot someone in the face, you are going to kill them. Whereas if you shoot their hand, you're just causing them a lot of pain. So I suppose it does make sense that they just shot him everywhere else and not his face.
Yeah.
It's like a zombie, you know. You must remove the head or destroy the brain. You don't want to do that if you want to torture someone.
Yeah.
So you should know that from your torturing days.
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't.
Oh, God.
I shouldn't admit
I
that.
have to edit that out now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Idiot. So there we go. Yeah. So
we go.
that's my number 5.
Number
RoboCop. Yeah. And obviously we've covered my number 4, which was The Thing.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up there?
Should we wrap it up?
Let's
Is
wrap
that
it
enough?
up. Let's wrap it up. We've
That's
gone
enough
just
for this
over an
episode.
hour there,
Okay,
so
people will be getting bored of our voices.
yeah, bored. Oh, I'll be bored after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I don't suppose anyone's listening anymore. We could say anything.
Yeah.
Flop dop dib dop dib.
Yeah.
If you get that quote, I love you.
I don't.
I bet you it's a Red Dwarf quote.
I thought it would be. You know what? As soon as you said that, I thought that's got to be Red Dwarf. That.
Yeah.
What episode's that?
Oh! Don't ask me that. I should know that. It's rumour. He's talking about the Scouts and being in the Space Scouts, and that was their motto.
Cool.
Flibbity dib dop dib, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, no one's listening, so we could just talk
so
about any old garbage now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, if you are still listening, thank you.
Just give us a like if you're listening to us on
Drop
YouTube.
us a comment
if
you want to.
Drop us a comment. Give us a subscribe if you like what you listen. Well, if you don't like what you listen to,
Please
subscribe
subscribe.
anyway.
It make us feel like we've got a friend.
Yeah. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll be on iTunes as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't told you about that.
Yeah, no.
we may end up on iTunes quite soon. So
okay.
Been working on that, but
that sounds good.
Yeah. So look forward to that in the future.
Opening us up to the world.
Opening us up to the.
Because YouTube doesn't reach the world.
No,
apparently.
no. It reaches at least 4 to 5 people.
Yes.
So that's always good. But thank you very much if you have listened to this. Really appreciate it. And
may the 4th be with you.
Yeah, we're recording this on Star Wars Day.
It is Star Wars Day
and
today.
And we haven't mentioned Star Wars.
That was quite bad. We should have started with that, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
It's May the 4th, so you're probably listening to this in August.
Yeah,
by the time we get around to
publishing
publishing it.
This up,
but no, it's Star Wars Day, so I hope you've all had a good Star Wars Day.
Yeah,
there we go.
May the 4th be with you.
Indeed.
Goodbye.
Let's call it a day.
Let's call it a day. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time. Cheerio.